In addition, a growing elderly population is a blessing. The elderly bring wisdom, cultural and traditional understanding to any society. But at the same time, older persons in Uganda face a range of challenges. There's widespread illiteracy, landlessness, food insecurity, poor health, neglect, and a lack of social security. The dramatic increase in the total numbers of older persons in Uganda requires the need to ensure they receive appropriate support to actively age, and that includes access to social security. So since 2010, the government of Uganda has been supported by development partners, including the UK and Irish governments, to invest in developing a comprehensive social protection system for Uganda. Through the expanding social protection programme, a total of investment of around 400 billion Uganda shillings has been made over the last 10 years. As the UK and Ireland, we are proud of our small part in this programme and GOU's progress. Social protection is a core component of any successful and sustainable market economy, and particularly now as we make efforts to recover from the impact of COVID. There's really strong international evidence that social protection programs can transform societies and economies. And actually, we've seen that happen in a lot of high-income countries, where on average about 12% of GDP is spent on social security. There's also global evidence on the role of social protection as an effective part of the comprehensive response to COVID-19. And the evidence from Uganda is really strong. So where there's social protection payments in a household, the average household expenditure goes up by about 33%. With government of Uganda leadership, Uganda has made great progress, but isn't quite able yet to capture the full benefits of investing in social protection. Current levels of investment just aren't quite high enough at the moment, and we haven't yet, as a result of that, been able to support the government to put in a truly national social protection scheme. The main scheme, the Social Citizens Grant, has been rolled out nationally since March 2020, but still is only able to reach a relatively small proportion of the elderly population, those above 80. If Uganda wants to move forward to become a successful middle-income country, this is going to be one of the key issues that Uganda is going to have to address, and we look forward to continuing to work closely with them to see how we can support that move. The significant achievement of committing the Social Citizens Grant to people over 80 is commendable, and we want to further help the government of Uganda to reach its commitment by seeing what the blockages are to the financing of the scheme as it's rolled out, by lowering the eligibility age, and by ensuring integration and digitisation of critical data systems. We have been concerned about the 50,000 eligible beneficiaries who are not able to benefit from the scheme because they have not been registered with NERA. But I'm absolutely delighted that yesterday we had some really great news from our colleagues in NERA that they had managed to find a way to overcome the majority of that barrier. And I just want to say a huge thank you on behalf of all development partners for that step. Thank you very much. We're also concerned that there's an outstanding issue of government arrears for the Social Citizen Grant for 2021 of around 38 billion shillings. I mean, look, we know that budgets are incredibly tight globally. The UK is going through a really difficult financial process at the moment as a result of COVID. All countries are going through a massively tight set of budget constraints as a result of COVID. But we still really hope that the Ministry of Finance is able to release its funding. Donor funding is due to end in the coming year, so it'll be really critical if we're going to sustain this programme and the progress that we've all made together, that we're able to find this money. We as development partners remain committed to supporting the expansion of social protection in Uganda. We're massively impressed by the political commitment shown by the government of Uganda to social protection, and we hope that this remains a priority for the government into the future. And with that, it just remains to thank all of you for coming today. Thank you.
Your Excellency will now have the statement or speech by the Honourable Minister of State in charge of elderly affairs. We had also asked him to introduce his colleagues. The ministers, at the end, he'll also invite the Right Honourable Prime Minister to welcome you and invite you to talk to the nation.
Your Excellency, General Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, President of the Republic of Uganda, the Right Honourable Prime Minister, Honourable Robina Sebanja, Honourable Ministers, Honourable Members of Parliament, Excellencies, the Ambassadors, the Chairperson and members of the National Council for Older Persons, the NRM Elders League National Executive Committee, development partners, government officials, particularly members of Gender, Labour and Social Development, older persons of Uganda today, invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, protocol observed. Your Excellency, I must go back very briefly. I've been with NRM for 17 years according to NRM Constitution. But according to the Uganda Constitution, I've been with the elders for 12 years. During this period, you've been in leadership. And that leadership has been leadership of change, dynamic change. You've been in it for over 50 years. What we are talking today runs over a period of 15 years. And definitely the older persons have been evaluating you. And according to our evaluation, you are scoring 90%. Your Excellency, I've been closely following up what is happening amongst the elders, and a lot of things have happened, as my speech will show. Your Excellency, before I continue, I bring apologies from my Minister, Honourable Amongi Betty. She's unable to be with us today. Your Excellency, on behalf of the Minister of Gender, Labour and Social Development, and on my own behalf, I welcome you to these celebrations to mark the International Day for Older Persons 2021. Thank you for accepting to host us for the national celebrations. Your presence is a clear indication of the importance you attach to issues of older persons in Uganda. Your Excellency, permit me first of all to sincerely thank you on behalf of older persons of Uganda for creating a specific cabinet docket for older persons, for which I occupy. Since I am the occupant, I will thank you in an extra special way and say thank you, Your Excellency. This is the first of its kind in Uganda, and older persons are very grateful, very excited for this gesture because they have got a docket where the unique issues can be directed. Your Excellency, every 1st October, Uganda joins the rest of the world to commemorate the International Day for Older Persons. This day was designated by the UN General Assembly under Resolution 45/106. The International Day of Older Persons was first observed for the first time throughout the world on 1st October 1991. In Uganda, we have been commemorating this day since 1999. Your Excellency, the main purpose of this celebration is to recognize the contributions made by older persons towards national development and to create awareness among the population on the rights and the needs of older persons. Further to this, government and other stakeholders take stock of what has been achieved, the gaps and the possible solutions to address challenges faced by older persons. Your Excellency, the theme for this year's commemoration is digital access for all ages, a tool for inclusive development. Your Excellency, our local theme is a homestead as a basis for social transformation of older persons in the economic social development. This theme has been selected to emphasize the importance of inclusion of older persons in digital platforms, especially with the increase in demand and the use of digital platforms in delivery of services and programs, more so during COVID-19 pandemic, where physical contact among persons is limited. Your Excellency, the global industrial revolution is now characterized by rapid digital innovation, increased economic growth, which has transformed all sectors of society, including how we live, work, and relate to one another. It is true that technological advances offer great hope for accelerating progress towards sustainable development goals. However, this growth cannot be evenly distributed if access to basic digital platforms to the population is limited. This can lead to exclusion of vulnerable people in access to services and opportunities provided through digital platforms. In Uganda, we are witnessing increasing demand and use of digital platforms in every delivery of services and programs, more so during COVID-19 pandemic, where physical contact with people is limited. As a sector, programs for older persons are using digital platforms. For instance, the Senior Citizens Grant beneficiaries access funds through agent banking. Registration of beneficiaries with NIRA is digital. There is need, therefore, to support older persons to appreciate the advancement in technology and learn how to utilize the available digital space in order to realize inclusive development, and the commemoration of this day provides a great opportunity for stakeholders to reflect on how digitalized services can be provided to all sections of the population, taking into consideration unique needs of each population group. Your Excellency, my ministry has realized this digital gap in access to older persons and will collaborate with the Ministry of Information, Communication and Technology and the National Guidance together with the Uganda Communications Commission to develop a strategy on promoting inclusive access to older persons in Uganda. Demographic trends. Your Excellency, globally, the number of older persons aged 60 years and above is expected to more than double, from 841 million in 2013 to more than 2 billion in 2050. Older persons are projected to exceed the number of children below 14 years for the first time in 2050. Unfortunately, this increasing number is catching many developing countries unaware. In Uganda, the trend of the population of older persons is not different. According to Ugandan National Housing and Population Census 2002, the population of older persons was approximately 1.1 million. And the National Census 2014 shows that the population of older persons was 1,430,000. By 2014, a 30% rise from 2002. This is expected to even increase as the quality of life in the country improves. This current population projection for 2021 for older persons in Uganda stands at 1,600,000. Your Excellency, this number to us has been understated. Our own census, through our structures, brings the number towards 4 million. Your Excellency, we felt that you should look into this so that UBOS gives a more accurate position for planning purposes. Actions taken from the previous commitments during the commemoration of the day in 2020. And that was the basis of our evaluation, Your Excellency, to give you the 90%. Your Excellency, during the commemoration of this day in 2020, older persons, through the National Council for Older Persons, raised concerns to government. Allow me update older persons and the country at large on the progress made towards realization of these commitments. Number one, the Senior Citizens Grant. Your Excellency, the NRM government established Senior Citizens Grant in 2010 in 15 pilot districts. At that time, each older person aged 65 years and above in the pilot districts received a monthly grant of 25,000. Since then, this program has been scaled up to respond to the overwhelming demand following the positive results generated by the pilot phase. Your Excellency, government funding to the program was enhanced from the shillings 62.88 billion last financial year to shillings 120.7. We can upload that this financial year. Government needs to provide an additional 26.9 billion in the budget for the next financial year to cover the funding gap as the financial support of our development partners, the UK government and the Republic of Ireland comes to end in June 2020. Your Excellency, this needs a lot of urgency so that the whole program doesn't collapse. To date, over 304,000 older persons are enrolled beneficiaries of SAGE. Another 15,000 older persons who are eligible but lack a national identity card have been registered and connected to NIRA to register for the ID. Once they are issued the national identification numbers, they will be enrolled and paid. However, Your Excellency, there is another 41,000 older persons whose dates of birth were not correctly recorded on the national ID. Although they claim to be 80 years and above, their national IDs indicate a lower age. The NIRA legal team is working out a modality of helping this group to correct their records. Your Excellency, despite these challenges, I'm glad to note that the Ministry is working with NIRA to register older persons who do not have identification cards totaling to 11,891 and correct those with wrong details on their cards totaling to 41,413 at no cost. Your Excellency, we've now a new Executive Director, Madam Kisembo, and are optimistic that things in NIRA are going to change. I wish to thank NIRA for this move that will enable eligible beneficiaries to start receiving their money once these details are corrected. Your Excellency, I thank you for supporting the rollout of the Senior Citizens Grant. Allow me, Your Excellency, to bring to your attention the outstanding challenge which is yet to be addressed. Your Excellency, in the last financial year, only shillings 62.88 billion was appropriated by Parliament. And this was not sufficient to pay all the enrolled older persons. My ministry did not succeed in getting the supplementary funding to cover the gap. As a result, we carried over arrears in beneficiary payments to the tune of shillings 36.07 billion. Your Excellency, we are following up with the Ministry of Finance to allow us to spend the current budget to cover those arrears so that the older persons are not kept waiting for the arrears for a long time. This will call for any resulting gap in the current budget to be considered for supplementary funding. Representation of older persons in Parliament. Your Excellency, older persons requested to be part of the composition of Parliament under Article 78 as a special interest group. This necessitated amendment of the Parliamentary Election Act 2005 to provide for representation of older persons in Parliament and the manner of elections. Your Excellency, I will use this juncture first and foremost to introduce my colleagues in the Ministry of Gender, Labor and Social Development for recognition. Allow me to introduce Honorable Asamo Helen, Minister of State for Disability. Allow me to introduce Honorable Sala Mateke Nyirabashichi, Minister of State for Youth and Children Affairs. Permit me, Your Excellency, in a very special way, in the history of Uganda, to introduce to you the first 5 members of Parliament of older persons as a special interest group. Your Excellency, the first one is Honorable Joy Peji Wako. The second, Your Excellency, Honorable Businje Penina Kabingani. The third one is Honorable Catherine Mavengina. The fourth one, Your Excellency, is not with us today, is Honorable Canon Joram Tibasimwa. Last but not least is the Speaker, Honorable Gidudu Mafabi Dominic, and also Minister of State for the Elderly. Your Excellency, the whole of the elderly fraternity in Uganda is gratified, full of joy, and requested me to extend a special vote of thanks to you. Thank you, Your Excellency. You have enabled us to reach the pinnacle of registration. As I told you, this is a journey for more or less 17 years. We started with the Older Persons Bill. We came up with the Older Persons Act 2013. It gave us that authority from village. We had the councils, we went to parish, we went to sub-counties, and finally to districts. And now, Your Excellency, we are at national. We now have members of parliament in the August House. We can participate in budgeting and appropriation. And definitely, Your Excellency, this is a history of its own in Uganda. And we assure you, Your Excellency, first of all, that as NRM, all these 5 members are NRM. 2, Your Excellency, there is a block vote for you amongst the elder persons in NRM. Your Excellency, every elder in this country is very optimistic. Literally, every day I receive over 100 phone calls, all of them expressing joy in their own way. And that's why, Your Excellency, in spite of COVID-19, we request you to find a way for us to have these regional conferences so that each region can come up and express their gratitude, their feelings, to show that, yes, it is definitely appreciated. Your Excellency, I'm happy to report that we now have 5 members of parliament in the 11th parliament, 4 representing regions of East, West, North, Central, and 1 female national representative whom I want to stand for special recognition. Your Excellency, that was done purposely for gender balance. But as you can see, out of the 5, 3 were the old women, and the women are only 2. Older persons are delighted to have a voice in Parliament that will speak specifically on their issues for the first time in Uganda. And Your Excellency, to actually emphasize this, a young man can never feel like an old man. The speaker here has been an old man for 12 years. I have the feeling, I have the passion, and I have the determination. And wherever there is any inclusiveness or visibility and the older persons are not included, I will automatically advocate for it. Number 3, Older Persons Bill. Your Excellency, following your directive to enact a law that will protect older persons from abuse, the ministry undertook the process of drafting the bill in collaboration with the first Parliamentary Council. The bill is now ready and due for submission to Cabinet. Your Excellency, we pray for your support when the bill is brought in Cabinet. Government interventions towards improving the well-being of older persons. Your Excellency, permit me to highlight achievements we have registered towards improving the well-being of older persons in Uganda. Prioritization of vaccination of older persons against COVID-19. Older persons of Uganda are grateful to government for prioritizing them for vaccination against COVID-19. Your Excellency, world over, COVID-19 has affected older persons more than the young population. This has been due to the prevalence of health risks which come with aging. Hypertension, diabetes, cancers, among others, that make older persons highly susceptible to contracting coronavirus. This move by government to prioritize them has saved many lives that would be lost due to the virus. Your Excellency, last week we had a special collaboration meeting with UNAPIT to start a rollout campaign to accelerate the vaccination of older persons responding to your call. And definitely we shall go to the regions, to the district. We shall use our councils to ensure that every older person in Uganda is aware, and if he has not been vaccinated, will be vaccinated. The life expectancy to increase, Your Excellency, was not by accident. It was through our good government policies of vaccination, mosquito nets, and so on, that the life expectancy of older persons moved from 44 years to 63. So already the older persons have an incentive for them to respond positively to national vaccinations of older persons for their own good. The ministry is going to work with the Ministry of Health to intensify sensitization of older persons about COVID-19 and mobilize them to go for vaccination, in addition to bringing vaccination points nearer to older persons through provision of complementary services, for example, vaccinating them during paid days for the Senior Citizens Grant. Your Excellency, I went for a monitoring trip to Northern. I was in Ilango, sub-county called Ogur, and the turn-up of these 80 and above was overwhelming. And Your Excellency, the eldest older person in Ilango during that day was 117. She could still walk, she could still talk, and she could still see. 2, parish development model. Your Excellency, in March 2021, Cabinet approved the implementation of the parish development model, PDM, for transitioning households out of the subsistence economy. The parish development model is an approach to organizing and delivering public and private interventions for wealth creation at the parish level as the lowest planning unit. In the allocation of quotas for the parish development model beneficiaries, older persons were allocated 10% alongside persons with disability. This allocation is minimal, given the population of older persons aged 60 to 80 who are still economically active and can partake of this program. Your Excellency, the older persons between 60 and 80 are economically active, and they are a big number. They have experience, and most of the retired civil servants belong to that category. Further still, the parish development model did not take into account the older persons' councils that are present from the village to national level. Our humble appeal, Your Excellency, is to revise the allocation to at least 10% for older persons to enable them participate meaningfully in the parish development model. Key concerns, Your Excellency, for older persons. Your Excellency, allow me present to you the key issues that have been raised by older persons that need concerted efforts to address. Rationalization of councils of special interest groups. Your Excellency, on 22nd February 2021, Cabinet took a decision to merge, mainstream, and rationalize government agencies, commissions, authorities, and public expenditure to facilitate efficient and effective services delivery. Among the agencies to be rationalized are the councils for special interest group, older persons, youth, women, and persons with disability. These councils, Your Excellency, you said it yourself, have elective structures from the village as provided for under the laws that establish each one of them. These councils each have unique needs and concerns which require specific interventions. Therefore, merging them will diminish their visibility, and their particular issues will not be adequately addressed. Your Excellency, the Ministry of Public Service is going ahead as if you never came out on this issue. We therefore request you in a special way, Your Excellency, to come up with this pronouncement of clarification for us as an exemption group. Your Excellency, I request that these councils be maintained as they are for effective coordination of the various needs for improved service delivery. Number 2, lowering the eligibility age for the senior citizens grant. Your Excellency, the older persons and the leaders in local governments have appreciated the government support to the older persons, but continue to strongly appeal to the government to reduce the threshold from 80 years to either 70 or 65 years in order to cover many more vulnerable older persons. Government has to enhance the current program budget of shillings 120.7 billion by an additional 158 billion, which brings it to over 378 billion. Your Excellency, this will be able to cover 70 or 65-year-old respectively. Number 3, establishment of the Department of the Elderly. Your Excellency, we are forever grateful for the cabinet docket of the Minister of State for the Elderly. With this docket, older persons are now well positioned to channel their issues and the concerns to their minister. However, this needs to be accompanied with the establishment of the Department of Elder Affairs for better coordination and implementation of policies and programs for older persons. I further add to the voice of the National Council for Older Persons and request for your support in the establishment of the department to give full autonomy to Cabinet docket. We are not refusing to be together with our sisters and brothers of people with disability, but we want Your Excellency to streamline, to give the necessary potency to the department you have created. Number 4, Enterprise Fund for Older Persons. Your Excellency, while in Chankwanzi, I reminded you of this enterprise fund. Older persons aged 60 and 80 are still economically active and need to engage in income-generating activities to reduce dependency and hopelessness. The current credit programs systematically eliminate older persons. Even the insurance policies, Your Excellency, due to the negative stereotypes associated with aging. And yet, Your Excellency, most of the land in this country belongs to older persons. And yet, what is needed in the bank is security. But because that security is owned by an older person, it is disabled and is unacceptable. In order to achieve socio-economic transformation, which the NRM government is striving for, there is need for specific programs for older persons which can provide income to households to enable them increase their incomes. The Enterprise Fund of Uganda shillings 10 billion was promised to older persons in Padel 2016. But up to now, the Ministry of Finance, Planning and Economic Development never allocated these funds. It is my humble appeal, Your Excellency, that these funds be provided to Ministry to support our older persons to enable them age gracefully. Your Excellency, I consulted my minister and she listened to me under a Myoga fund. You directed, Your Excellency, but she advised that we have to come up with a cabinet memorandum to present to cabinet for approval before we can be included on the list of a Myoga fund, which stands at number 18. And I think, Your Excellency, it is also of the same for the Enterprise Fund. If it is, I will again approach my minister so that it's brought to cabinet. But it will need your support, Your Excellency. Both the Myoga Fund and both the Enterprise Fund. As you realize, Your Excellency, you kick-started us off with technologies and affirmative action under NADS. And at this juncture, Your Excellency, I must recognize Dr. Mugasi. He followed up your directive, and as I talk now, Your Excellency, we have given piggeries the whole of Eastern, the Northern, we have given 15 districts out of 39. Central, we have given 14 out of 26. And the Western, 25 out of 36. And he has promised to continue. So, Your Excellency, these elders, what we have found out is they lack capacity. We are monitoring capacity to feed. But with this Emyoga Fund and with this Enterprise Fund, we shall work out a system to give them inputs, which inputs they will give when they sell the pigs and whatever poultry they are looking after. Program for socio-economic transformation of older persons. As I told you, Your Excellency, we are very grateful for your directive of affirmative action under NADS program, which you directed in 2019 to provide agricultural inputs to older persons circles. We measured in piggery, and so far we have distributed piglets to over 90 district circles. The focus is on socio-economic transformation of homesteads as a submodel of the parish development model. Your Excellency, we presented our Kivalo costing of husbandry, piggery, poultry, and fishery in Chankwanzi. And we believe that this will help in alleviating poverty among older persons, since they own majority of the land where these projects will be implemented. We have already designed a fish pond size for older persons and therefore request for bulldozers and hatcheries for poultry to roll out this program. Number 6, support to councils for older persons. Your Excellency, funds for the National Council are still limited. To enable them effectively perform their mandate as stipulated in the National Council for Older Persons Act. This is coupled with the major allocations sent to the districts for operations of district councils of older persons. With the introduction of the parish development model, there will be need for engagement of these councils to mobilize and sensitize older persons to participate in this program. I therefore seek for your support to increase the budget for National Council of Older Persons. Your Excellency, as I conclude, I would like to take this opportunity to thank our development partners, Foreign Commonwealth Development Office, formerly Department of International Development, and Irish Aid for the support they continue to give the government, and in particular my ministry, to enable us implement the expanding social protection program, and in particular the Senior Citizens Grant. Your Excellency, as I conclude, we have a few petitions and also a few recognitions. Your Excellency, Honorable Businje Penina Kabingani has offered 50 acres of land in Kampala, in Kajansi, to develop the elder person's home. The details, Your Excellency, we shall send them to you. Your Excellency, I would also like to let her stand up so that she is formally recognized. She is also Member of Parliament for Central Region for Older Persons. Your Excellency, in a special way, I would like to recognize Honorable Dr. Kefa Sempanji to stand up for recognition. That old man, Your Excellency, is going to be 82, but is still very active. They have set up what they call Semriki Older Persons Foundation for Central Region. and they are dealing in husbandries, Your Excellency, as I told you earlier, poultry, goats, and the small things that take a shorter time, that fit into the older persons who are in the departure lounge. Your Excellency, he has also written a book which you have forwarded to you to show that that is what he's doing during his last years. Your Excellency, we are putting a request for special consideration. As you realize, Your Excellency, the Bible says there's time for everything. These older persons can no longer be given jobs because they have served and they have retired, but they have a bank of experience. And Your Excellency, we wanted you on a regional basis to squeeze them as either presidential assistants or presidential advisors, as some of us who are regional MPs have set up offices. For instance, Your Excellency, I have an office in Jinja to cover my Jinja people who are 12 districts. I have another one in Mbale to cover Sebei, Vugishu, Vukedi, and Teso. These advisors, I would accommodate them there. You wouldn't need to give them office space. And each of my colleagues in our caucus are setting up such offices in their region. Your Excellency, for Eastern region, we have John Peter Erimu and Edith Ekumire, who have served NRM for over 20 years. In the Central region, we have Claudia Kamia and Honorable Dr. Kefa Sempanji, who have a bank of experience. In the Western, we have Reverend Colonel Apuli Patrick and Mrs. Ida Variarua, who all of them have tremendous experience. Finally, in the Northern, I have Honorable Anthony Butere and Joyce Muto, who have served us for a long time. Your Excellency, last but not least, Charles Walimba Peke is now an elder. He came to me and appealed for your consideration. He has served this country for a long time. As you realize, Your Excellency, we are not the same. Personally, I'm an entrepreneur. I don't need to be employed. But a lot of other colleagues have never been on their own. So, Your Excellency, this is a special request. If there is an opening, I would also want you to consider him. Finally, Your Excellency, we are extremely grateful for you. Amongst so many competing engagements, you have found time to be with us today. Honor us, but we also honor you and encourage you to continue leading this country. We assure you of a block vote from the elders. We assure you that NRM, as long as we live, we shall ensure it continues being in government for God and my country. And on that note, Your Excellency, permit me to call upon the Right Honorable Prime Minister. Okay. Okay.
as the band plays some background music, I'm advised, given the age of all of us, it would help standing up, stretching a bit. Yeah, you don't have to keep seated for very long, but stretch a little bit, feel free. This is your day. Just look at the Prime Minister and do what she does. She wants to conduct a small clinic. So let's do what she's doing. Okay, we can resume our seats. Thank you, Uganda Police Band, the Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Your Excellency, the President of the Republic of Uganda, the Honorable Ministers present, the Honorable Members of Parliament, our technical people present, our senior citizens, congratulations for making it to this very important day. As we celebrate during this very trying moment of COVID-19, thank you for making it to this day. Your Excellency, there is only one person they have not introduced, and that is the Honorable Kabahenda Flavia, the Member of Parliament for Kyegegwa, and the Chairperson for Gender in the Parliament of Uganda. The Honorable Kabahenda, please stand up for recognition. I know you are the one who made her become the chairperson of that committee. Your Excellency, allow me to appreciate you, Mzee, for personally hosting the International Day for Elder Persons every year, including this one in particular, where you came as a person. This demonstrates the value you attach to the elder persons in Uganda, as well as the NRM government in its entirety. Your Excellency, I want to once again thank you for ensuring that the NRM government meets its undertakings made to older persons in Uganda, including, like other persons have talked here, appointing a special minister in charge of elderly persons. Ensuring that elder persons are represented in Parliament. This was your initiative. And of course, I know you are aware that the life expectancy since when you came to power has increased, and this cannot go unnoticed, from 40 years in 1986 to 45 years in 1991 to 54 years steadily in 2002, and now 64 years, 0.2 as we talk now. That's a very great achievement, and therefore the population of elder persons has increased like other people have ably told you. You have provided financial grants to elder persons for enterprise development, and the masses have advanced. Though it is still small, I know we are remaining with some challenges, which challenges we, together with the Minister of Finance, will conclude in the near future. We are still in these engagements, and I know we shall come on top of the game. Permit me, Your Excellency, in the interest of time, to invite you to address the nation on this special occasion when we are commemorating the International Day for Elder Persons. Thank you so much.
Sit down, sit down, sit down. The Right Honorable Prime Minister, the Honorable Ministers, the representative of the development partners, and the leaders of the elders' councils. First of all, I congratulate all the elderly persons to have reached on this day. Congratulations. Omusoga ko abantu mwisukeyo. Mukulikeyo. Now, I think we need to have a shared view of how the elderly people can have a nice life. Because the problems they have some of them really are not necessary. It could be that we don't share ideas, and that's why the idea of having experts in gerontology is important, so that they can sensitize people. When I think of an elderly person, and since I am one, 77 years now, I think of 6 points. Omukado no, yetagachi. What does this old person need? I was trying to think quickly, and I could identify 6. Number 1, lifestyle. Lifestyle. How do you live? Lifestyle. Because that lifestyle will affect how you progress in old age. Lifestyle meaning, do you take alcohol? How about smoking? How about loose living? I think that one should be talked about. Lifestyle will affect you, for sure. My father died at 97. He would have reached 100 if he had not been smoking. The man used to smoke. And he would say, his father, that his father bequeathed a pipe to him. So it cut. The man would have reached 100. So, lifestyle. I think in your sensitization, please bring it out. Number 2, diet. What do you eat? Some of you have started eating these European and Asian foods. I don't know why you eat them. Me, I don't eat those foods. Except if I'm about to die in Europe. I don't eat bread. Why should I eat bread? I'm not a European. Mugati. I don't eat rice because I'm not an Indian. I eat. You know what I eat. What your fathers, your grandfathers were eating. Were they not eating before the Indians came and the Europeans? So, the doctors, I hear you have got a doctor here, Dr. Sentumbwe. Should never go to Musau. Abantu bo bano, abakadde bano. Mary, you can have more analysis later, but for me, I think, because I also did biology in schools, the African foods are very good. The millet, the bananas, cassava for the beans, they are good. Milk, beef, chicken. Now, then thirdly, work. It's good that the elder works. Because my father was looking after, would not kulisa, He was no longer a herds boy, but he would follow the cows. He's not the one in charge of looking after the cows, but he would follow to supervise. So that working, whether it is a garden or what, you walk there, you see what's happening, participate a bit. You are not the one doing the actual work, but you participate. Instead of just sitting in the house, I think that sitting down also affects, the doctor can explain it better, but I'm sure sitting down, therefore the elder should also work. Sikumenyeka, not kumenyeka, not work so much that, but work in order to strengthen to keep your body active. So I would advocate for a working elder. Yes, you retired from civil service or from these town jobs, but in your home, you should not be retired. You should be moving around, supervising, working, participating sometimes. But the doctor, your doctor, can study it more. For me, I'm just telling you what I do. And then exercising. Should exercise. For instance, I can tell you that elders who cycle, you are now fond of these pikipikis. Those pikipikis are useless. First of all, the fumes of the pikipikis, but then no exercise. The bicycle is an exercise. The bicycle, when you are bicycling from your home to the trading center and back. Now you think cars, for you think cars are very important, but those they are killing you slowly. The cars. A bicycle is a free exercise. You are moving, but you are also exercising. From the trading center to your home, I don't want you to cycle from Mbare to Jinja, no. But cycling from your home to the trading center and back is very good. You have moved fast, but you have moved exercising. If you have richer ones who have like swimming pools, if they can swim, that is also a very good exercise. So exercise, or jogging or walking, just walking. Just walking. In fact, the other year when I had a trek through the Ruero Triangle, after I have that idea that these areas where we used to operate, we should turn them into treks for health. We can build some few facilities along the way where people can have refreshment, maybe even spend the night, but walk instead of cars. Those cars are very dangerous. You like them, but they are not good. Walking is the medicine for life. The next is cycling. Cars are slow coffins. My mother used to walk from Ntare School to Turaharo for the church service. And she was very, very healthy. When we came from the bush, Sare bought her a car. Then she was sitting in the car. That she's the mother of the president. How can she walk? You know, the confusion. So they took her from her medicine, which was walking. They put her in a Kira, the car. She put on so much weight, and the system started getting problems. Walking, cycling, swimming. These are simple exercises. So to me, that is number 3, which you can really sit down in the council. Call the doctors. Don't just take my word. Say, how can our elders live well? Me, I'm provoking you. And you write a booklet. You write a booklet to guide, because people just get confused with all this. People are promoting things to sell, they advertise, then people buy those painkillers, I don't know, you know. The people are not guided. So they become victims of money seekers. People are looking for money, advertising this, advertising that. But what is our own advice? We as the elderly council, what is our own advice, scientifically based, to our elders, to our constituency? To Bawaude Tutia. I'm just giving you these rough ideas, but that doctor and her group can. Then number 5, it was lifestyle, diet, work, so that's 3. Exercise 4. 4. So number 5, of course, income. But income, the Banyankore say, buto ekorra bukuru. Young age prepares for the old age. Buto ekorra bukuru. So therefore, we need part of the sensitization by the NRM League, Elderly League, and the National Council, and all of us, to teach our people to work and save and prepare for old age. So that in old age you don't have desperation. This sage we are giving, I don't think my father here needs sage. Because I know, I saw him, they had fish ponds and so on. So while we are agitating for sage, the more important is to prepare our middle-aged people to prepare for reliable income in old age. Not welfare. This welfare is good, but it's not, it is like fire brigade. Okay, it's good to have fire brigade, just in case the house catches fire. But you don't plan for fire brigade. You don't plan to burn houses. Fire brigade is a fallback position. In case I have built my house, I've taken all the care, but unfortunately, fire has somehow come and we need a fire brigade. So welfare should really be fire brigade, should not be the first choice. That people stay there, they don't prepare for old age, and they wait for these donations from the country. First of all, it's not too much money. I don't know how much it is. How much is per person? 25,000 per quarter, per month. Okay, so that in a year is like 300,000 in a year. Yes, in a year it is like 300,000. 25,000 times 10 months, that is 250 times 2 months. So, really, you think that is money? Okay, it helps somehow. You can buy some sugar, some tea leaves, maybe some paraffin. But is that really the good life you are planning for your Ugandans? Because for the middle income we keep talking about, the per capita, the income which person should have per person is 1,000 and I think $30 or something like that. That's why the country, if you have got per capita GDP, if it is $1,030 or something like that, then you become middle income. So you can see $1,000 is about 4 million shillings. 4 million shillings per person. That's what you need to be in the middle income. So you can see 4 million shillings, what you are talking about, the 300,000, is not even 10% of the 4 million, which is needed for the society to be middle income level. So therefore, don't confuse fire brigade with the normal life. Fire brigade is for fallback, but plan for normal life. The normal life is let all these actors engage in wealth creation when they are still young, middle age, and even when they are, as you are saying, even when you are 60 to 79, you still are productive so that they have good income. They have good income. You can hear the average about 4 million shillings per person in a home. And you remember long ago I told you, you aim at 20 million shillings per homestead. You remember that's what I told you long ago, many years, about 20 years ago. So if you are earning 20 million shillings in a home, average home is 5 people, that means that each one is exactly 4 million. Each one is having like 4 million. So it's not the 300,000. We cannot have a national plan for welfare. No, it's not a good idea. Buno obusente bwe tugabira abakadde ye kituufu buyamba kankiteeke mu one of our local languages. Buno obusente bwe tugabira abakadde kituufu buyambako. Naye ekyandisinze kyandibadde okulaba nti buli mukadde watuukira okukadiwa alina enyingiza embatiza n'atawalirizibwa okwesigama ku busente buno obw'obuyambi. Buno obusente obw'obuyambi buli bwakuzikiza omuliro gw'obwavu. Bwakuzikiza omuliro, omukadde ali mu bwavu, kati tutaddeyo ak'okuzikiza omuliro. What we should plan for is wealth creation. When you are young, middle-aged, then you live comfortably when you are old. Actually, I don't know where maybe it's different in different areas. In Ankole, the elders are the rich people. The elders are the rich people because they are the ones with, people are talking about it. They are the ones with the land. They are the ones with cattle. They are the ones who are rich people. So really, you should do. These are not elders who depend on Misara and what. They depend on income from wealth, from coffee, from cows, from milk, from bananas. So why do you say that actually you are saying that in the parish model, we did not talk so much about them because we know in Runyankole they say Nubanyi Namaka. They are the owners of the home. Umuruganda tukyogera tutya. Semaka. Abakade beba semaka. Now the marginalized are the women, because the women are the ones who traditionally don't have where they came from, they are not there. Where they are married, they are not there. Except my daughters. My daughters, I said no. They must share where they came from. For my daughters, I put it in my will. They must be there in my will. My daughters. I cannot have my daughters hanging around waiting for handouts from the husbands. No. They go there on equal basis. If you don't want, I go back to my place. So don't think that this question of the elders it was not because they were. It's because we were trying to deal with the historically really marginalized. The youth. Many of them don't inherit because you see that one also we should study and develop a policy. Because the elders with property, they would keep the property until they die. And when he's dying, he says, oh, I'm dying. Now my things, the other one should take this, the other one should take that. But why do you wait to die? Why don't you, because you see the capitalist system where this man comes from, in Europe, they long ago developed a system of shares. This word shares, we use it here, but people don't follow it so much. Emigabo. If you have your, like my property, I have my properties. I long ago put those properties in Emigabo, in the shares. Of course, I'm the majority shareholder. Because they are my properties, 60% or 51% or whatever. But majority, because I don't want people to come and vote me out. And say we sell, because if you registered it as a company, some of these bad children, they can, they can say we have voted this man out, and we sell the property. So the good thing is to you keep the majority shareholding, but your children become shareholders and your wife become shareholders. Even when they are married away, wherever they are, they have their shares here. And when they declare dividends, they send them their money, put it on their account, so that the ownership starts even when you are alive, the co-ownership. The elders should, those councils of ours should study these issues. So that's how you get the Europeans. You get a man like Rockefeller, who was I don't know what he was before, but he started being rich. When he died, the wealth continued growing. Now the wealth is bigger than even when he was alive. But here, you find a rich man dies, the wealth disappears. Because it is fragmented, shared. Obwana bona bulinge nkuyege. Bumalawo obugagga obaddewo. Omusajja mwe abaana babigabana byonna. Abamu ne batunda. So, we should evolve ideas of how the actors can create wealth, share it with their families, even when they are alive, and perpetuate it even after the pioneers have died. So that would be point number 5, the issue of income. Not this, you say you shall work on it, but please. I think it is risky to divert our people from developing their own blood, Omusai, Remo, we call it Remo in Luo. We call it Remo. How do we call it in Luo? Remo. You are now saying that we should have anemia and depend on blood donation. Nti abakadde baffe babeere okugwa mu omusaayi, anemia, then they wait for blood donation from the Irish, from I don't know who. That's not good. You have your own blood. Let your body manufacture its own blood. Have your own wealth, so that this blood supply, blood transfusion, only comes in as a fallback for some calamity or something like that. So I don't know whether you do. No, then finally, of course, I think the good elders also need good company. So you'll have to fine-tune that question of good company. How can... I know there are groups which are trying to work on that, Mothers Union, I don't know what, Catholic Guild, I don't know what. They try, but how are they working on it? Company, because somebody can die from loneliness. So, that's not my number 6. So therefore, if you look at those 6 points of mine, which you can audit and see whether they are enough or is there something missing, then we go to now the parish model. The parish model is the latest effort to make sure that every elder, every person, by the time he becomes an elder, he has got enough blood in his system, doesn't need blood transfusion. And that's why the parish model. And in the parish model, we shall see this business of sharing and all that. But for me, in our head, we knew that the elders were actually the people who had less problem. Why? Because they are the owners of the land, the owners of the cows, the owners of the shops in the trading center. All the other people are their dependents. The women are their dependents. The children are all dependents. They are actually the main actors for the majority of cases. So therefore, the parish model, they are the core. The core. When you say, Oksimbe Mwanyi, who? In whose land? It is in his land. The protection we need to work on is more legal. More legal, because there are children apparently who the Banyankore say abarukutera abazaire, the ones who turn against their parents. These are the ones we need, and they don't use legal because the property belongs to the parents. It's not theirs. These ones are like robbers. They come to use violence and so on, to use illegal means, because the property is not theirs. It is the parents. So therefore, the protection, I think, would be there, the legal. If a child, traditionally, if a child misbehaves, the Banyankore disinherit him. Ukumutwa, you call the clan and you say, this one is no longer my child. Ndoza Waganda bakita kumzarukusa, bakita batia? Kumzarukuka. So traditionally, there were methods of how you could discipline. But it seems now they are no longer, these children go and work with the police, work with what? They use violence now. So I think that's why you need to help the elders protect their property and their money. But otherwise, in the parish model, they are the main actors because they are the ones with the land, with the property, cows, they are the ones with the shops, in the trading center. So what can be the problem? It can only be either they don't know what to do, or if they know what to do, then they are disturbed by some other actors, including the vagabond children who are vagabonds. Now I would like to thank the development partners for the blood transfusion. Some of our people have been ensured anemia, which I want to cure. I want to cure anemia. But it's good. It's better than nothing. Thank you for the support. Now, you are now saying that the government is contributing 120 billion to this program. And you are now talking of digital access, digital literacy. I think that's what you are talking about, that the elders should know how to use computers. That's good. But computers to count what? You see, the reason we went to the bush, we did not fully agree with some of the people. They will start with other things, but for us, because for me, so the computer, what will you calculate? to calculate the surge money you are getting, the surge money. I think in our ideology, in our thinking, we should really start the other way. Create wealth first, so that you have got a problem of counting what you have. Then you say, let me look for the computer. But you are doing nothing, and you want to calculate how money you are going to get from Sage, from Irish, and you need a computer for that. I don't think that is. The computer is good, but please, start with the foundation. Everything has got a foundation. These computers came to deal with big numbers. You've got a lot of figures, they take long. To use the Chamate method, you know our Chamate method. Chamate, the school I went to, the long addition, the multiplication, you know. These are too tiresome, so let's get a computer. But now, what are you going to calculate? Just rumor mongering, picking. So please, digital empowerment, but starting with wealth creation, so that you now have the need to calculate what you have, and to store data, store information. In the short run, this Sage, of course, will help, because it puts some purchasing power. It even helps the economy, because there is sugar in the factory. We are looking for markets for sugar in Tanzania and Kenya, but some of our people here are not drinking sugar. Why are they not drinking sugar? Because they don't have the money to buy it. So if you can give her that 25,000 and buy the sugar, that's good for her, but also good for the economy. As a fire brigade, okuzikiza omuliro gw'obwavu. Then your Banyankore have woken up. When we come from the bush, we woke them up. And some of the other groups here in some of the areas, they are producing a lot of milk. The production of milk is now 2.8 billion liters, but the consumption in Uganda is only 800 million liters. Why? Because some of the people are not drinking the milk, and yet they need it. You remember I was talking about the diet. Diet as one of my 6 points. Now one of the diets is milk, calcium in the milk, to keep the teeth in the mouth, the bones. But the consumption of milk is now, in 1986, the Ugandans were drinking only 18 liters per capita, per annum. Very low. They are now drinking 60 liters. But the WHO, Sentumbu is there, recommends 210 liters per person per year. If you want to keep the teeth in your mouth, so that you don't say, when you have no teeth in the mouth, you want to keep your bones, somebody can get a fracture there, just like that. Sentumbu, ekikiretwa kyekyo.
Excellency, you're very right that as we age, we need a lot of minerals, we need a lot of vitamins, and all these elements which keep our bones and our bodies strong. And we need them sometimes in even more than we needed them when we were young, because the body now is not taking them in as fast as when you're young.
As efficiently.
As efficiently, yes. So you need a lot of these vitamin D, the calcium, the magnesium, and all the other vitamins which will help them be absorbed in the body.
And they are in which foods?
Okay. Exactly what you started with, Mr. President. We need a lot of milk. We need some lean meat. We need the fish. We'll need to eat plenty.
The eggs.
We'll need a lot of eggs. We'll need to balance with the fruits and vegetables. A huge amount of your plate needs to have the vegetables, the fruits, about 3 to 5 servings in a day. So really, we need to plan to eat well. Eat the food that the president is saying. And unfortunately, for many of the older persons, if they are not in homes which have kept chicken, goats, cows, pigs, they will not be able to afford the rich proteins. And so we really must advocate, mobilize these older people in the families to keep the foods that the president is talking about.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So this little money we are giving out can help them buy some of those essential elements of diet, maybe some sugar for energy, some milk, salt, even salt, sometimes some people don't have the salt, omunyo. But you can see that really, if you really want to help your people, do a proper analysis. In the 25,000 shillings, what items can he buy that deal with some of these issues, that for instance deals with the diet? You calculate so that you have a clear, you are informed, and then you can advise our people. Now, the myoga, the reason we had not included the elders in the myoga, because you see, the myoga is a Nyankore word, which I borrowed to use in our modern system, but really dealing with the, mainly with the skills of the hands, blacksmith, carpenter, the ceramics, abanogozi, the ones who make clay, a boomba, of course a boomba, who use clay. Of course agriculture is also mwoga, because mwoga simply means a specialization. But we had mainly concentrated on these youth who don't have land, but who want to depend on the skills of the hand and work in a small area using their skills. But there is no harm in having the elders as one of the subcategories of the myoga. Now, introducing vaccinating against corona, that one is clearly scientific. After we are starting with the ones of 50 and above, should all be vaccinated. Among the 4.8, there are 4.8 million people, and among them they are the 50 and above, and then the ones below 50 but who have got other sicknesses, diabetes and all that, and then the teachers, the security personnel and so on. So that one is no problem. It is clear. There's a clear need for the elders being prioritized. Now, gerontology courses, we shall take it up. This is very. I think that's why the people don't know what to do. Don't know what to do. The medical, for instance, when this corona came, I started reading in literature that some of the people who are having problems in Europe was because they did not have vitamin D and vitamin B12. So I called my doctor, said, you come and check my system. I had very low vitamin D, you can imagine. Because, why? Because I don't go, because vitamin D is provoked by the sun. I am a prisoner in the house. So I had to catch up now. Now I have caught up with vitamin D, vitamin B12. Now, I didn't lack anything, but nobody had checked and told me that you need this, you need that. So that's why our councils or our NRM League, you are not going to solve people's problems. You are not going to go in their garden and cultivate for them. No. Your role is to sensitize. Sensitize. You are not going to cultivate for these people or no. Do research, find out what they need, and you tell them. And you tell them clearly, and then they will do. Like, for instance, if somebody had told me that these days I spend some time sitting, fortunately there's a sun which comes through the window. So even without going out, I sit there, the sun. So the councils, these councils, you are not supposed, okay, you can have your circle, the other circle which I promised you. We shall come to it. But the bigger job is sensitization, but you cannot sensitize unless you do research. And you tell your people what you have checked, what you are sure about. And that's why the study for gerontology is important now, so that even in the schools, because after all, they are doctors, we call pediatricians. Are they called pediatricians? What are they called? Pediatricians. Pediatrics.
Geriatrics.
No, but for the children.
The children is pediatrics.
Pediatrics. Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you have got pediatrics, somebody specializing in the children and their problems, why don't you have this other person also? To specialize in the problem of these people in the departure lounge as they are. Now, this business of the 8 years and wanting to move it down, we can do it eventually, but for this year, we have this problem of the corona. We are still struggling to survive. But in the medium term, I think the Honorable your Minister is already doing a good job, Minister Mafabi, because he has pointed out in his speech, he has pointed out that now we are spending 120 billion If we were to add the others, then we would have another extra 159 billion. That's what you said. And that would come to 300 something. At the right time, we shall definitely look at that, especially after we get out of this corona. Because remember, there is the other advantage of putting some money in the hands of these people so that they become consumers, so that they buy what is in the shop. It helps the economy also. It's not just helping them. It helps the economy. So we shall definitely, although I prefer no anemia, so that they have their own blood, but if they still have some anemia, blood transfusion is also better than nothing. So it's good that you are now bringing out the figures so that the magnitude can be seen clearly. I totally agree, this subvention of 780 million shillings a year is a joke, because it's not serious. I really see no problem, Right Honorable Nabanja, in having 3.7 billion for these goers. When we were at Chamate Boys School, when you will get to P6, you become very proud, and then you put up your collar like this. Say, we are goers, for us we are goers. We are leaving primary school to go to, that time we were going to the junior secondary, which is like P7. So these elders, their council, this little man of 3.7 billion, for them to be able to talk. Really the thing is talking to their people and getting some information to give them accurate information. It is research and sensitization, really. So this 3.7, even for the Youth Council, they were also talking about that, and the Women Council. These councils, if we were to put aside like 15 billion to share, the Women Council, the Youth Council, the Elders Council, the Disability, it would not be bad investment. And then vehicles, that they need some vehicles for the Secretariat, maybe also for some of the regional chairpersons. Not too many, don't remove too much, because traveling is more expensive. It is better, like in the campaign, you saw how I campaigned. I would stay in one place, talk on the radio. And I will reach more people, because sometimes when you go on a rally, some people don't come. You only address the ones who are there. But when you time your address, like the time when people are at home, and they can listen, you may reach more people. So in your sensitization, don't spend too much time on traveling, calling people, because when you call people, it's more expensive than when you sit in the radio and you talk. Because in the radio, you can reach more people. Now, this idea of merging the National Council of the Elders and the other, this is not going, it's nonsensical. It's not going to happen. Because I told them, it was included by the civil servants who don't understand the population. You know, they just stay here in the departments. They don't know. There's no way you can, I told them, and my father was there in the cabinet, I said, please, there's no way you can merge. You merge the others, the departments of government. This is not a department of government. This is a community organization. These are community structures. There's no way you are going to merge the Synod of the Church of Uganda with the Catholic Episcopal Council, or the Muslim Council. You're not going to, you can't imagine them. They are doing separate things. They are different people. The one is addressing youth, the other one is addressing women. You are not a woman, so how are you going to? How can I be married with women? I'm not. So this one was done by people who don't understand the society very well. So don't waste time on that. Now, finally, Right Honorable Nabanja, I'm embarrassed. These elders are going to cause me bad luck by okubanja obumbi 10. Nti president yabalimba, nti abasuuza obumbi 10, kati myaka 5 abakadde bano bagenda kulitira ekisiraani munange. Kati Nabanja in our law, joke, you know the spirits. By not giving the money of these elders, the 10 billion, they can send me bad jokes to me. So I'm telling you, Nabanja, please save me from these elders. They don't. Because 10 billion one time, this is nothing for this budget of so much money. You give it to them and finish with them. So that they don't go on okubanja, abakade, babanja. Now, God can hear that Bakada are crying and become very angry with me. No. So with these few words, I congratulate the elders for reaching this year, and I wish you good luck. Thank you very
much. Ladies and gentlemen, I think His Excellency deserves a more thunderous clap than that. We would like to thank you, Your Excellency, for, as we have said, honoring this day, honoring the older persons of this country, and for your message that will be mainstreamed into all the mobilization efforts. Ladies and gentlemen, and Your Excellency, if your time permits, they had requested that as we leave, you allow a photo opportunity with them, and then after that, we'll be able to leave. Can we, ladies and gentlemen, rise to the anthems in the reverse order and departure accordingly? Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. And as you've said, we'll order, the right honourable Prime Minister, the ministers, and will be guided where to take the photo from. We thank you all for gracing this occasion, and we would like to wish you safe passage home